I searched YouTube for how to install a UV sterilizer, watched a ton of videos, but none of them was easy enough to understand for a beginner. UV light destroys DNA and is unhealthy for all living organisms. It doesn't straight up kill the organism per se, but it does damage their DNA so they can't reproduce. In our hobby, there are a whole bunch of organisms that we don't want in our tanks, or at least want to control how many of them are in our tanks. Fish disease, dinos, and algae, to name three. In order to damage the DNA of these organisms, we have to get them in contact with the UV light. A UV sterilizer is nothing more than some sort of dark piping with a UV bulb inside. Using some sort of pump, we push water in one side of the UV sterilizer. Then it flows through the sterilizer, coming into contact with the UV bulb that entire time until it comes out the other side and returns to our tank. So in order for the UV light to actually damage the DNA of various organisms, two things have to be true. Number one, the organisms that you want eliminated from your tank actually have to pass through the sterilizer. This means they have to be in the water column and not surface dwellers. And number two, organisms that do pass through the UV sterilizer need to have sufficient contact time with the UV light in order for the DNA to be damaged. This means that you will have to get the flow rate through the UV sterilizer just right. UV sterilizers are actually really simple pieces of equipment. This is the body, or also called the housing. It is thick so that zero UV radiation can escape. There are several unions for easy installation and maintenance. For all of these unions, it is important never to lose the O-ring or they will leak. As for the actual UV portion, you have the ballast and power supply. Then there is the Davies connector. Loosening this merely allows the bulb to spin freely for installation. Next, you have the transformer cap. You unscrew this to install and remove the bulb. There is no water involved here, so you can unscrew this with water still in the housing. Next, you have the clear blue quartz cap. This is used to remove and clean the quartz sleeve. It is watertight and the sleeve is snugly kept in place by the purple rubber seal. But for easy cleaning and maintenance, you'll want to also remove the union. That way you can carefully clean the quartz sleeve without touching the purple rubber seal. The UV sterilizer can be installed horizontally or vertically with some caveats. You don't want any air inside the sterilizer. It just means there will be less direct contact between the water and the UV bulb, which means the efficiency of the UV sterilizer will go down. If mounted vertically, all that means is you'll want the water to enter through the bottom, flow up through the sterilizer and out the top. And if mounted horizontally like this, you'll just want to make sure the inlet and outlet are facing upward and not downward. That way the chamber is always flooded. Oftentimes, the best place to mount your UV sterilizer is to your wooden cabinet stand, either to the outside or if there's space inside. You'll also need to consider where you're going to draw your water from. If you have a sump, you want to draw your water from immediately after your mechanical filtration, usually filter socks, and return that water to the return chamber or as close to the return chamber as you can get. What you don't want is to draw the water and replace the water from the exact same spot, because then you'll just keep recirculating the same water over and over again. And if you have a rear filtration chamber, then the exact same applies. But at the end of the day, the final position for your UV sterilizer is going to be wherever you can fit it and wherever it makes sense to install the plumbing. First off, if your tank is 75 gallons or under and you don't mind a hang on the back option, the easiest thing to do by far is to purchase the Aqua UV 8 watt or 15 watt Advantage hang on the back sterilizers. Hang it on the back of your tank, purchase the appropriately sized NUA utility pump, get the appropriate size flexible tubing and plastic hose clamp, and you're done. But today we're going to show you how to install an Aqua Ultraviolet Classic UV sterilizer. They come in either white or black, and be sure not to purchase one that comes with a wiper. Those are only meant for freshwater applications and they will corrode in our saltwater setting. The first thing we're gonna do is mount the UV sterilizer in the exact location we want it. You can do this any way you want and any way that makes sense to you, but I am using these absolutely fantastic custom designed 3D printed mounting clamps from Aquatics. They are specifically designed for the Aqua UV Classic sterilizers. If you happen to have a metal stand like the two Innovative Marine APS stands behind me, then these clamps are probably not going to be your best option. You're going to start by choosing the location for your sterilizer. Place the brackets on your sterilizer and use a pencil to mark their locations. By the way, the brackets are held together with these small black pieces. Just pull them out and discard them. Use the included screws to secure the clamps to the stand, then lock the sterilizer into place, being sure it fits correctly. There are two really nice things about these neat Aquatics clamps. First, they have 3 small rubber pieces which tightly keep the sterilizer in place. And secondly, the locking mechanism makes installation and removal way easier than your standard 2-inch PVC clamp. According to Aqua UV, it doesn't matter which one the water flows in and out of. For this video, we're installing the Classic 25 vertically with the water flowing in the bottom and out the top. Ideally, you want to install it in such a direction as to make bulb replacement and quartz sleeve cleaning as easy as humanly possible. And for a vertical installation, that would mean having the bulb and quartz sleeve removal at the top of the unit. I happen to do it opposite just because I didn't want the power cord to run along the top side of my tank, but rather along the bottom. But because I use some flexible tubing, I can still remove the quartz sleeve and the bulb when I need to. Aqua UV recommends not placing the UV sterilizer directly onto the ground, but as long as it's properly leak tested, sometimes that really is the best installation method. For example, if I was going to install this unit here on the Innovative Marine 40 tank right behind me, I would likely just place it horizontally on the ground behind the tank. Now that we're sure we have the sterilizer properly situated, take it out of the clamps and install the barred fittings. They already come with Teflon tape, so you'll just need a wrench or pliers to fasten it securely to the unit. Next, be sure all of your unions are fastened tightly by hand. Then place the sterilizer back into the clamp and get your plumbing gear ready. By far, the easiest way to do the installation is to purchase the correctly sized pump and place that pump immediately after your mechanical filtration. Then use either 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch flexible tubing to connect the pump to your UV sterilizer. Use a couple of plastic hose clamps to secure the flexible tubing into place. Then run another piece of flexible tubing from the output of your sterilizer all the way to the return pump chamber. In an ideal world, the output line would be placed directly into the tank, but we don't live in an ideal world. Once your tubing's in place, turn on the pump and check for leaks. Once your leak test is complete, turn off the pump and install the UV bulb. To do this, unscrew the Davis connector, then unscrew the transformer cap. Remove the bulb from the package, being sure not to touch the actual bulb itself. Plug the bulb into the 4-pronged power supply and gently place the bulb into the quartz sleeve. Reattach the transformer cap followed by the Davis connector. Turn on the pump and then plug in the UV sterilizer power supply. You'll know it's on because you'll see a glow from the clear blue quartz cap. Bulbs need to be replaced about every 14 months, and you'll also want to clean the quartz sleeve every 3 months or so to remove any calcium buildup. Getting the right flow rate through your UV sterilizer is absolutely crucial to success, and Ryan will teach you how to do that. And as always, everyone, thanks for watching. Happy reefing, be well. We'll see you next time.